Here's what's in the news now. Hoosiers always step up to help in times like this.
Lauren Kostick joins us on set tonight after speaking with several already volunteering their time in North Carolina or planning to go there. Lauren, good evening.
Yeah, Scott, Felicia, just the photos and videos coming out of North Carolina right now are just devastating. And we're also hearing about some towns still cut off from help and supplies. But tonight, that's not stopping Hoosiers from finding a way to lend a hand.
At Midwest Food Bank Thursday, pallets of food and supplies ready to be loaded up and driven down to North Carolina.
Food and water and cleaning kits and lots of things that are very needed right now.
So far, sending 14 truckloads to areas affected.
It's a great way to provide support and be of help to those people that are hurting right now.
The need stretching across much of the southeast just a week after Hurricane Helene made landfall, isolating and cutting off towns from life-saving support. Plus, many loved ones still missing as search and rescue missions get underway. Indiana Task Force 1 focusing on the western part of North Carolina, speaking to 13 News for the first time Thursday, detailing the grim reality.
Most of these houses are completely gone. The ones that we're working on now, we're looking for them. They're not anywhere near where they used to be. So, it's just, it's sad.
They say the biggest challenge is accessing these devastated communities.
So we might be able to take a road and kind of work through the trees and the debris, but then we have to come back down through where the water's pushed everything. So there's a lot of structures are down, and we just have to work through them all.
32 clear for takeoff, right turn east.
Other Hoosiers, like the Civilian Crisis Response Team, also stepping up, packing private planes with much needed supplies. And earlier this week, volunteers with the local Red Cross heading down to do their part.
I just felt like, why would I not go?
Plus, Indiana line workers also answering the call. Last week, crews left Clark County for Georgia, now working to restore power to millions left in the dark.
I've never seen anything like this before. The tree damage and the broken poles, it's beyond belief. And then also the property damage to people's homes, it's quite devastating.
Hoosier Help giving a lifeline to those who need it the most.
And you know, the other big challenge down there right now is the cell service and the internet. So a lot of the Hoosier volunteers down there can't call their families back home here in Indiana. So I know when I was speaking to Indy Task Force 1, they were saying, please let our family know that we're doing okay. We're tired, but we're doing okay. So wanted to make sure we pass along that message.
Yeah, North Carolina has received hurricane floods, but not like this.
Nothing like this.
My goodness. Thank you, Lauren Kostick, for reporting. Yeah. And there are so many different Hoosier organizations sending help to North Carolina.
We've made it easy for you. If you'd like to help, you can scan that QR code that you see on the screen.
It'll take you to WTHR.com/SeenOn13. That's where you'll find a story with all their information.
An Indiana family demands justice after the death of their loved one. Riker Earl had suffered 2 epileptic seizures when his grandmother called police for help.
But Earl died, and his family blames deputies for his death. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump held a press conference today showing some of the deputies' body camera footage. And I've reviewed the video all afternoon, and we have to warn you, this video is difficult to watch. An Indiana family visibly shaken and disturbed as they listen to their loved one beg for help while being held down by police.
Take it.
Riker Earl's family called police September 8th after the 26-year-old suffered 2 epileptic seizures. Attorney Ben Crump explains the video.
Shows Riker pleading for his life while officers had him pinned down, face down, handcuffed.
The Jasper County Sheriff's deputies' body cameras show several minutes go by before Riker Earl is placed into a recovery position. While today at the press conference, his family watches in horror as they demand to see more footage.
After he went limp and they finally checked his pulse and realized there wasn't one, me screaming at the officers, EMTs, you just killed him. You don't hear that anywhere on the footage, do you? I want to see the full footage.
Earl's family says he simply needed medical help for his epileptic condition.
He went through torture and he just needed some help for a seizure. I don't understand. I'll never understand. But we need change. We need change.
And his family now blaming deputies for his death.
Most importantly, they felt it was a lack of compassion. And so we demand justice for Riker. We demand accountability, and we demand transparency.
Now, the father of two was placed on life support and died 2 days later. Riker Earl's family is now pushing for more information and transparency as they wait for the results of the autopsy. Meanwhile, we're hearing from the Jasper County, Indiana Sheriff's Office. A post on Facebook says, in part, the responsibility of the deputies was to prevent Mr. Earl from harming himself or the EMT personnel while they provided medical aid. And by releasing this video, the Jasper County Sheriff's Office is not drawing any conclusions about the actions of anyone involved in this incident. The independent investigation will draw those conclusions.
We want to take a closer look at a new ad for Republican Mike Braun's gubernatorial campaign.
In the television ad, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Jennifer McCormick's campaign team says a photo of her at a campaign rally was digitally altered. Our Anna Chalker joins us live from the newsroom to explain how a new law changed the rules for political ads.
Well, Scott, Felicia, the Braun ad shows a photo of McCormick standing at a rally with people behind her holding signs that say no gas stoves. But at the actual rally, they were holding campaign signs with her name on them. Now, I want to show you both versions of this photo. The picture on your left is the original one taken by the South Bend Tribune. The other is the photo from Braun's campaign advertisement where you could see a change in those signs. Instead of McCormick's campaign signs, they now say no gas stoves. And according to our news gathering partners at the Capitol Chronicle, the ad was sent to TV stations without a legally required disclaimer. Now, a new state law requires all campaign ads with altered media must include that disclaimer. Representative Kyle Miller, who co-authored the new law, says this helps voters understand what's true.
This is exactly why we wrote the bill. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better example of why we need this. It was a picture that was clearly altered. And so, again, if images are going to be altered like that, then voters deserve to know the truth.
The law says if a candidate does not disclose that an ad is altered, their opponent can sue them. Miller says that the new reissued ad with that disclaimer does follow the law.
All right, Anna Chalker in our newsroom with that story. Thanks so much.
The Circle City Classic, past, present, and future. After 40 years, it's changed a lot.
That's right, and I sat down with the current president and CEO of Indiana Black Expo, Alice Watson. She reflects on this year's classic and what she would like to see happen in the years to come. There's no doubt the rain from Hurricane Helene impacted the 40th celebration of the Circle City Classic, but the attendance issues the event has had over the years are not new.
You know, we compete with over 25 classics now. This one, of course, is one of the original classics here in the Midwest. So really trying to figure out how do we morph it into something that's a little bit more different and meaningful for the community.
President and CEO Alice Watson notes that a lot of attendance in previous years has come from people who travel outside the state to attend the Classic. And she says the optics of filling a stadium of over 70,000 people play a role compared to where games were previously held at the Hoosier Dome. According to Watson, prior feasibility studies show where the game attendance goal should be.
We attempt to fill a stadium that the reality is if we hit a number that's somewhere between 25 or 30,000 in attendance, that's a huge success.
In addition to increased competition with classics around the nation, the increased cost of hosting an HBCU football game is a big hurdle too. Watson says, depending on the university, it could cost at least $500,000 to bring a football team here.
We used to not have those challenges with HBCUs, but we're now competing with what we call PWIs, which are the primary white institutions, if you will, the Division I's, where they're paying a lot more for HBCU teams to come and play them. I mean, it's like upwards to $1 million. So
an effort to reinvigorate the Classic also includes a renewed focus on youth programming and exposing children to post-secondary education.
And we still believe that that's a viable model.
It's a difficult job being at the top, but Watson would like for the community to come be a part of the changes they would like to see.
It is challenging because everyone has an opinion, but everyone doesn't have a buy-in. And so again, what I would say is that the community needs to see what they have. It's very valuable, and to support it.
So obviously there's a lot that's happening here. We talked for a really long time, and she's saying community support is another thing that's needed to make this organization and the classic, to make it is what it is. We put more of our conversation on WTHR.com. It will be there in a little bit. And we explored some other ideas, like what it would look like bringing in other teams. What if you shorten the number of events? We even talked about bringing in bigger name celebrities. So we're going to post more of that with our conversation. I've got to finish it. It'll be there a little later.
It's a work in progress. All of that, though, or most of it, would take more money, though, right?
More money is a factor. It's needed. So it's kind of, it's a tough job for sure, but hopefully it's something the community will continue to wrap around.
Look forward to more of the conversation online.
Well, Eli Lilly made a big announcement today, a $4.5 billion medicine foundry set to open in 2027 in Lebanon.
Leaders at Lilly tell us that they will combine drug research, development, and manufacturing all in one place. Our Jenny Runovich shows us the plan tonight, the jobs it will bring, and what this means for patients.
Eli Lilly's Medicine Foundry is the fourth massive investment in Lebanon's LEAP Innovation District. $4.5 billion, meant to have a big impact on how the company develops drugs and therapies, starts clinical trials, and gets meds to patients at the pharmacy.
Thank you all for leading and leaping our way into the future.
The Medicine Foundry will combine research, manufacturing, and the most advanced technology available in a single location, right here in Indiana. We're not aware of another investment like this in the world.
The complex will be built on the west side of I-65. 1.2 million square feet, 7 buildings, 400 new high-skilled jobs. Scientists, researchers, engineers, lab techs, a boon for Boone County.
When you talk about companies you want in your community, Lilly's at the top of that list.
Lilly says the speed of innovation and supply will be the game changers here. A decade ago, it took 13 years to get a medicine from testing to available. Takes half that time now. With the new Medicine Foundry, Lilly expects to speed up drug development even more and ramp up supply when a discovery is successful.
Researching new ways to produce medicines, as well as manufacturing these medicines for clinical trials across the world.
This site will enable those types of inventions that can allow us to make 2-3 times as much medicine from the same process with chemical innovation.
But this project does come with questions. People worried about the water supply, not just for the medical foundry, but the LEAP district in general.
Lebanon put some projects on hold because there wasn't enough water for them. Citizens Energy's proposed a plan to pump in 25 million gallons a day. Local and state leaders say concerns are unfounded.
Not one drip will be drained that's not accounted for.
Lilly would not be willing to commit and make an announcement unless they were comfortable that we would be able to supply them based on our plans.
The state is paying for road, water, and utility improvements, plus incentives tied to Lilly's jobs and investment for the foundry, a project they call transformational in the science of fighting and treating disease. In Lebanon, Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
Again, any new construction in Lebanon depends on getting water.
As we've reported, Citizens Energy has proposed a $700 million plan to boost the water supply. But an advocacy group is saying not so fast. Today, the Citizens Action Coalition filed comments with the state against that plan. It says this proposal boils down to diverting public funds meant to help provide clean drinking water for people. So a few companies looking to build factories in a relative water desert can financially benefit.
The state police descended today on the little town of Atlanta. That's in northern Hamilton County. There's an investigation of a town official. Tonight, that official is not under arrest, but police searched and collected evidence at his home and several town buildings. Our Rich Nye was there today as that investigation unfolded.
Atlanta is a town of just 700 people. Indiana State Police added to that population significantly Wednesday with a large presence at several locations across town. Townspeople told me that the number of police vehicles and investigators was even greater in the morning before I arrived. An Atlanta town official confirms that police are investigating utility superintendent and building commissioner Andy Emmert. The official says Emmert has been in that position for years and served on the town council before that. Town Hall was closed Wednesday as investigators search for evidence there and at a few other town buildings. State police are not saying what this investigation involves, but investigators were at Emmert's house at the corner of Walnut and Meridian all day. They loaded 2 different classic Oldsmobile Cutlass cars off his property and onto flatbed trucks and eventually obtained warrants to haul them away. I never saw any crime tape at any of the investigation locations, and state police tell us that Emmert is not under arrest. Longtime residents say that Emmert himself is a longtime resident of Atlanta. I sent him an email, I called and got his voicemail, I sent him a text message, but received no responses. In Atlanta, Rich Nye, 13 News.
Now, Rich reached out to the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office. They tell 13 News they are not able to comment on any possible pending investigation.
Welcome back. And so the real ID requirement looks like it's finally going to happen. That's the updated driver's license or ID card with the little star on it.
It's an added security measure that you'll ultimately need to board a plane. Well, some people are running into issues getting that ID. Allison Gormley tells us what's the deal with why you might want to start preparing your paper trail now.
Cheryl Russell is back home again in Indiana.
Spent my whole life here until the year 2000.
But she needs a new ID to prove the move so she can vote this election.
It's not just a privilege, it's a responsibility.
So she and her daughter Kathy headed to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Russell opted to get a real ID since we'll all need it to board a plane beginning in May.
Mom had her real ID in Georgia. It was an active license until 2027.
At the BMV, Russell, who does not have a passport, learned that if your birth certificate does not match your current ID, you need a government document reflecting the name change. In Russell's case, it's a certified marriage license from 1973.
Over a half a century later, all of a sudden, I'm supposed to come up with that? No way.
Certified marriage licenses come from the clerk's office in the county where you got married. In her case, it's Marion County.
The supervisor told me that he hoped it would be within 30 days, but he couldn't guarantee anything.
And that wait would mean she cannot get an Indiana ID in time to vote.
That's very upsetting because I've earned the right to vote.
The Marion County Clerk's Office told us they're in the process of digitizing marriage records that date back to 1820. That unintentionally held up some requests, and the Clerk's Office says it's now resolved. It's not just Russell having trouble proving a name change.
They may have gone by a middle name, but their birth certificate shows the first name, so they need to get that corrected.
Lawyer Andrea Sneeden with the Legal Aid Society said they're seeing more demand for help because of the real ID requirements.
The court wants to see the chain of documents and every name that you've gone by.
Sneeden said if you need assistance proving who you are, start gathering your birth certificate, marriage license, even a naturalization form.
Having those documents ready to give an attorney, it saves us a lot of time.
Helping Indiana residents plan for their future plane rides.
The real ID deadline, let's face it, it's been pushed a lot. But this May 2025 deadline seems to be a little more real. So if you've been married, remarried, or go by your middle name, start thinking about your paper trail. Allison Gormley, 13 News.
All right, so this May is the real deal.
That's what they say.
It's real this time. All right. If you like Allison's What's the Deal segments, catch your show streaming on WTHR+. Just download the app. You can do it now on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. And happening soon, the second rapid bus transit line is about to open in Indianapolis.
Yes, it is, and we're talking about Indigo's Purple Line, and it's going to be a big change for drivers as well as for riders, and Indigo wants to help prepare you for what to expect.
Our Karen Campbell has what riders and drivers need to know.
Indigo's highly anticipated Purple Line will connect downtown Indianapolis to the city of Lawrence, and this is just one of those stations here near 38th and Post Road.
The second rapid bus transit line will be open for riders in Indianapolis in less than 2 weeks, starting at the Downtown Transit Center to the Park Avenue station on 38th Street. Along 38th Street, both the red and the purple will alternate, giving riders a shorter wait time. From 38th and Post, the purple line continues to Lawrence, to Fort Bend and Ivy Tech. A $188 million project, with half of that going towards infrastructure like new traffic signals, sidewalks, and more.
So the goal was to be able to provide faster, more efficient, more reliable transportation for folks in these most densely populated areas, trying to reach the people who need it most.
Riders can use what's called the MyKey app on their smartphones to buy tickets before boarding, or use a credit or debit card or cash at vending machines on platforms. Next, you'll have to validate your fare at the station platform. Just scan the QR code on your MyKey app or tap your card on the fare validator machine seen here.
And then there are also the real-time screens. So gone are the days of a bus schedule when you ride BRT and having to check the schedule to see what time the bus is going to come, because on BRT, the bus comes on what's called a headway. So it comes at regular intervals.
And drivers, watch out for lane changes. 2 lanes have now been reduced to 1. Again, the Purple Line will officially be in service on October 13th. Now, we have all of the information about what drivers and riders need to know on our website, WTHR.com. In Indianapolis, I'm Karen Campbell.
Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the complex as we get ready for the big game this weekend in Jacksonville. E.J. Speed, the leading tackler of your Indianapolis Colts, kind enough to join us. Thanks for stepping in. Big week. After getting another dub, what's it feel like around here getting ready to hit the road 4 out of the next 5?
The morale is up. You know, we going into a road game, a divisional road game, coming off a two-game win streak, just looking to make it 3.
And the defense been playing beat up. A lot of key pieces missing last week. What does that do for the morale and confidence, seeing these younger guys step up?
It's just next man up. You're on a 53-man roster in the NFL, so you're highly capable. It's just time to prove it between the lines on Sunday.
What did that win do for you guys against the Steelers and all the fans they brought in for this thing?
A lot. Most importantly, we hung on down the stretch. The game got a little close down the stretch. We proved to ourselves that we can close out a game. For the first time this season, we had to close out that close one versus a great offense and defense and the 3-0 Steelers. We'll take this into Jacksonville and just go win.
That's what it's all about. Speaking of win in Jacksonville, it seems like it's been forever. Yeah. Lost 9 in a row down there. What is it about playing in Jacksonville?
I don't know, but it's a different year. That was last year's work. You know, we're getting a new chance, a new shot at it. We'll go ahead first and get this W and bring it home.
Yeah, that team's so beat up right now. This would be an easy win to overlook. Does this feel like a trap game to you guys?
I don't think no win in the NFL is easy, but definitely worthwhile of going down there and showing that we can get it done easily, though.
All right, so each week we shout out to a Riley Hospital. We have a Kid of the Week. Who's the Kid of the Week this week?
Owen Lower. Owen Lower from Noblesville, man. Happy birthday. You're celebrating your first birthday. That's special. And I know that you love playing with your big sister. I wish you everything. I wish you the best and all love from the Colts, man.
How about that? A big
Definitely.
shout out. Thank you, EJ.
Sure.
We appreciate
all
the
right,
time.
you.
Inside the Huddle right here on Channel 13.
Yep, love.
3.
You will see a sea of pink at Military Park on Saturday morning.
Thousands are expected to take part in the Susan B. Komen More Than Pink Walk to raise money for breast cancer research.
Each person who walks has a story, but they all share a common goal: to find a cure for breast cancer. Nora Cordray celebrated a milestone birthday this year.
Turned 75, and so I have a new mantra this year: 75 and still alive. It's a wonderful thing to be.
Wonderful, given she's been breast cancer free for 33 years. But she remembers 1991 clearly.
I was 42 years old and I found a lump.
She underwent a lumpectomy.
Before I left the hospital, I knew that it was indeed cancer.
It was stage 1. She went through 6 weeks of radiation.
And here I am today.
And Nora is now living a full and active life.
I do water aerobics. I do a lot of walking. There's pickleball.
She and her husband travel to national parks. They enjoy their kids and 6 grandchildren, and she wants to pay it forward.
I have been involved in a lot of fundraising for breast cancer over the years, and participated in many walks around the country.
On October 5th, Nora has assembled a team of 24 to walk and raise money at the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk at Military Park.
I'm so impressed with Komen's mission. I believe in their mission of saving lives.
Nora wants to share her experience and encourage others.
Mammograms, early detection is really key.
And she's a champion for the efforts of Susan G. Komen.
They are doing so much in terms of funding research, clinical trials, providing services for cancer patients.
Saturday may be pink, but the goal is much bigger.
To think about a world without breast cancer is, we're getting there.
Yes, we are getting there, and the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk is Saturday morning at Military Park. Check-in and on-site registration begins at 8.
An Olympic gold medalist Cole Hocker is headed back to Virginia tonight after a short visit in Indy.
All of this comes nearly 2 months after he won the gold in the men's 1500 at the Paris Olympic Games. The Indianapolis City County Council and the Mayor Joe Hogsett declaring today Cole Hocker Day in honor of the Indy native.
What an honor. So Hocker wore his gold medal for the ceremony at Luger Plaza. He even brought up some of his track coaches from junior high through his years at Cathedral High School for some pictures.
And we caught up with Cole after the ceremony and asked him about his future plans.
You know, I got a vacation plan here in a couple days, and relax, get my mental back where it needs to be. And then, you know, indoor track will start soon enough, and we got our World Championships this next year. So there's not too much break time for professional track athletes, but I'm doing my best to enjoy it and relish in it.
We are so proud of our Indianapolis gold medalist. Hocker told us today he's going to be back home a couple more times this year.
As we previously mentioned, he'll be a special guest at C&O Financial's Monumental Marathon. Plus, he says he'll be coming home for the holidays, too.